Just before we get into this video, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, the links are here. And if you also want to support me on Patreon as well and help out my channel, that would be absolutely awesome as well. But let's get on with the video. Hey guys, Wingy here, and welcome to another episode of Why You Should Watch. This is the series where I talk about movies or TV shows, even though I don't think I've actually spoken about a movie yet, where I say to you why I think it's so good and why you should watch it. Now, the last one of these I did, I think, was Life on Mars. This time we're going to be doing the sequel slash spin-off series to that, Ashes to Ashes. Now, from what I have seen and what I have heard from other people, Life on Mars is generally considered to be the better of the two shows. And to be honest, I can't really argue that, but for me personally, I've got to say, I actually prefer Ashes to Ashes. The thing is though, with a show like this and the nature of a show like this, I don't know if you can just watch this by itself. Maybe you do have to see Life on Mars first to fully get it and fully appreciate what this show is trying to do. I don't think it's a must, but at the same time, a lot of the themes and elements, you don't really get the full sense of them if you haven't seen the previous series. But at the same time, this series does have its merits. This series does stand up by itself, and I think is superior to Life on Mars as a show overall. But I think if you don't have the context of Life on Mars, then I can see an argument for it not being. So, if you have seen Life on Mars, then you will know it's about a police officer who has an accident and ends up back in the 1970s. This one is a police officer who has an accident and ends up back in the 1980s. However, instead of John Sim as Sam Tyler, we have Keeley Hawes as Alex Drake. There are a few differences apart from the lead actor changing. Different time period, it's a different setting entirely, it's moved from Manchester to London, which I must admit is something that I'm not happy about. And in the context of the show, it doesn't totally make sense or need to happen. What I love about this show is it carries on a lot of the same themes of Life on Mars, but it does them in a different way. It puts a new spin on them. The way that Gene Hunt and Alex Drake's dynamic works isn't totally dissimilar from Sam and Gene's, but at the same time, it feels fresh and it feels different. Alex Drake is not Sam Tyler, and I like that. I like the fact that we didn't just get a like-for-like replacement. In some aspects, for sure. Obviously, the modern aspect, looking at policing from the modern era to what it was back in their time, clashing on certain ideals. But I think while Sam and Gene have this clash of attitudes, yet they respect each other type dynamic, with Alex Drake, you've got somebody who helps Gene become a better character and a more well-rounded character, and I think Gene Hunt does the same for Alex Drake. So in that regard, I would say that they complement each other a lot better. I think the banter between Sam and Gene in Life on Mars though is a hell of a lot better. So I suppose it all comes down to what you would prefer, seeing two lead characters bounce off of each other and have an incredible chemistry in the sense of their dialogue and how they talk to each other, how they interact. Or if you prefer character development, I think this is the stronger of the two shows. Life on Mars very much felt just like Sam's show, whereas this one feels like it is an ensemble cast. You get more character development for Gene, for Ray, for Chris. Characters that didn't really do a hell of a lot in Life on Mars, apart from Gene. Plus, Alex Drake has more character motivation because with Sam, he just wants to get back to his normal time. Alex Drake also wants that, but because she has a daughter, she wants to get back to her daughter again. This show does repeat themes, like I said before, but I think it does them better in terms of the aspect and the angle of meeting their parents in the past. Sam Tyler coming across his mum and dad is totally different to Alex Drake coming across her parents. The impact of Alex Drake seeing her parents in the past and building that relationship with them only for it to go in a certain way, which I'm not going to spoil for you, is about 10 times more powerful than anything that they tried to do with the parent aspect or parent angle in Life on Mars. But at the end of the day, this is essentially a detective show with a bit of a sci-fi twist on it, and that angle, it works really, really well, just as well as Life on Mars. Some of the crimes that they come across, some of the killers that they come across, some of the thieves, some of the con artists, anything like that, even corrupt police officers, it's all here and it's all handled incredibly well. I'd say the first series, whilst very good, is probably the weakest of the three. But then again, you kind of want that from a TV show. You want it to start off relatively well and then get stronger, and I feel like Ashes to Ashes does exactly that. In terms of scale, I feel like this one is a lot bigger as well. Now, some people might be put off by that, and that's fair enough, I understand. In terms of stuff like Doctor Who, I often say stuff like less is more, and I definitely stand by that when it is necessary. In this show though, I like the fact that they went a bit bigger, they went a bit more action-packed. You do get these really cool chase sequences, particularly in the car, and I mean, Gene Hunt's new car in this, the Audi Quattro, oh, it's fucking beautiful. The way that he throws that thing around corners as well, and he's reversing it at high speeds and everything, it's just awesome. In the same way that Life on Mars is very much a 70s detective show, this is very much an 80s detective show, and you can feel that switch there. And as somebody who is a massive fan of 80s music, this show is full of it, and it works to its advantage. Maybe I just appreciate it more because I love a number of the songs in this show, or maybe because it just fits what they're doing better. I don't know, but the whole 80s aesthetic is such a bolster for this show. The final season as well, season 3, wraps up everything. It wraps up Ashes to Ashes, and it wraps up Life on Mars. Now, the very end of this show was quite controversial for a lot of people. It split fans down the line. Some thought it was very, very good. Other people thought it was a bit of a cop-out and a bit of a bullshit ending. For me personally, I lean more towards a satisfying conclusion. I understand the criticisms that people have. I even agree with some of those criticisms as well, but I think the way that both of these shows are, it works. There's so many different twists and turns, especially in the third series, trying to figure out what this world is. Why are people ending up in this reality with Gene Hunt? The very last episode, I think, is heartbreaking. There's a moment where characters watch videotapes, and I'm not going to say any more than that because I think you need to see that moment as it is without knowing anything about it. It's one of the most gut-wrenching scenes in the entire 5 series in total. It is. It's just brilliant. There's so many shocks and so many things that I never would have expected, and it's handled brilliantly for the most part. There are a few things that are a bit iffy. Throughout the third series, we get a new regular played by Daniel Mays, who is probably one of the best characters as well. He is such a good character, and his dynamic with Gene and how he affects everything that is currently happening to Alex, to Ray, to Chris, to even Gene himself is handled perfectly well, and Daniel Mays really steals that series. So overall, this is well worth the watch. This is, to me, superior than Life on Mars. This show to me is more of an ensemble than it is the Sam Tyler show, or in this case it would be the Alex Drake show. I like seeing characters grow, I like seeing them change, I like the whole reveals of everything that is actually going on throughout both of the series. I like the setting, I like the music, I like the action, I like the stories, I love the cast. Everything about this show is just brilliant, and it is a really worthy sequel slash spin-off series to Life on Mars, and in some areas I think it surpasses it. However, like I said at the beginning of the video, you probably don't get all of that if you haven't seen Life on Mars. So whilst I would say that this show is worth the watch and it is brilliant, maybe watch Life on Mars first. But in the comments, guys, let me know what you think. Have you seen Ashes to Ashes? What did you think of it? Do you prefer it to Life on Mars like I do? Do you not? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like on it. Subscribe for more. Social media and Patreon links will be in the description below, so if you would follow me on any of those, then I would absolutely love you forever. But until next time, guys, you take care of yourselves. Goodbye.